do really appreciate your support for the Thru Project. It is a critically underserved area of our community. Unfortunately, it's something that most people don't know about, or they know about and kind of ignore it because it's honestly fairly easy to ignore. What the Thru Project is we're an organization that supports youth before, during, and after their transition out of foster care. We're very unique in the fact that we're 100% publicly or privately funded, and so we receive no public funds. And so we really pick up where the Child Protective Services and the foster placements organizations or our government kind of falls short in caring for individuals that leave foster care. A lot of people don't know, but when you think of foster care, you think of babies and infants that need to be adopted, and you think about international adoptions, you think about all these things. But the reality is that there's 400,000 people in the United States that are in foster care. And every year, about 40,000 of them will age out of care. So basically, they'll turn 18 years old, the state will hand them a $500 check and say, good luck, you're on your own. So imagine being in that place where you're 18 years old, you don't have anyone to call, you don't have anyone to go to for guidance, you don't have somebody to go home to when you're, for birthdays or Thanksgivings or Christmases. Imagine being in that place, and that's the reality for 40,000 people every single year in our country. In just our region, which is what we serve, Region 8, in San Antonio, about 2,500 youth every year will age out of care. So it's a big problem, and the reality is they're kind of forgotten individuals for a lot of people. Because you think, oh, well, they're 18, they're an adult, like, be an adult, right? But imagine what that's like this day and age especially, of how difficult it is to navigate, buying a car, leasing an apartment, dating, marriage, relationships in general, when you don't feel like you have that go-to trusted adult that you can share with and you can talk to. For myself, I had that experience. I was 13 whenever I was removed from my parents' home. I lived with a foster family for 3.5 years, and I actually became fully independent at 16 and a half. I was still in high school, and I was living on my own. I graduated high school at 17. I had tried to enroll in college, ultimately failed out after 3 semesters because when I'm 18 years old and trying really hard, trying is not always enough. And so I was very fortunate that I had a grandfather that I met when I was 17 that I didn't know previously, and he helped stabilize my life. And I had a foster family that I was able to go back to that I lived with for 3.5 years, and they're still in my life. I just spent Thanksgiving with them, actually. And so I was one of the fortunate ones, but the reality is there's a lot of youth that don't ever find that permanent connection and someone that they can go to and have that safe place. So the Thru Project likes to fill that gap. So we recruit through the group homes in the area, through different organizations like the BCFS PAL Center, where youth will go through and they'll kind of start to learn about life skills. We can connect with them there. We also work with various different agencies. So we not only work with youth while they're in care at 16 or 17 or 18 years old, but youth that are 19, 20, 21, 22, all the way up to 25 is really what we kind of serve, where they may think nobody cares about me anymore. I'm 22 years old, all the services are off, but I still don't have anyone to go to. They can always come back to us. So the Thru Project will help by providing a one-on-one mentor, and we would love for any of y'all that are interested to contact us about becoming a mentor. We do trainings once a month. The only requirement is that you be 21 years of age. You do a 2-hour training, and then we'll explain all of the nuance of how to be a mentor. We especially need men right now. We're very short on male advisors. Mentors, advisors, kind of the same word, but your role is to be their friend, to be a trusted adult that has some life experience that they can go to and know this is a safe place, a safe person to talk to, and they're going to guide me with their life experience because I don't have it yet. So we ask that y'all please just consider being an advisor through the Thru Project. All of our information is on the back table when you leave, so you're welcome to go through our website. We have all of the upcoming training dates listed there. Phone number there goes to me as well, so I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Also, afterward, if you just want to grab me and ask some specific questions about foster care that you've been wondering about. Not only have I lived in it firsthand and been a staff member of the Thru Project, but my wife and I are also licensing to become foster parents right now. And that's one of the really cool things is that there's redemption and there's hope for a lot of these young men and young women that are in care, and they wonder, why did I go through this? What was the purpose? Why was my life so difficult? That people like myself and Jimmy exist to share some hope and to tell them that there is a reason why you went through that. And so now I'm in a place where I can actually invite young people into my home with my wife, and we can serve them and love on them the way that a lot of people are missing. So that's really what we need, are just adults to speak truth into the life of youth that you're here for a reason, you have meaning, you have purpose, and help them achieve their goals. And so with that, I'd like to introduce Jimmy. Jimmy is actually in our graduate program. He was one of the initial youth in the Thru Project 3 years ago, and he has a great success story to share with y'all. So please welcome Jimmy Cisneros.
Thank y'all again. Considering my past and the statistics on youth leaving the foster care system, I really shouldn't be here right now. My name's Jimmy Cisneros, and I grew up in foster care. It's not something that you brag about, much less announce to a room full of people. I didn't have a childhood. I've been an orphan since the age of 10, and the only surviving of my siblings. All three lost to violence by the time I was 21. I've felt angry, confused, and alone for many years. But believe it or not, I still consider myself lucky. I've lived most of my youth at the same residence. I've attended the same high school, and I've been able to attend college also while being at the same residence. Some would call that stability, but the only stable part of my life has been nearly constant emotional pain. Many foster kids have a similar experience. Some are better, some are worse, but we all face the same challenge. What happens after foster care? Many youth are not adopted whenever they enter foster care or reunited with their extended family. The older you are when you enter foster care, the harder it is for you to find a place, especially if you come with siblings. So you're moved from place to place, and eventually you're separated from your family. You move from school to school, home to home, whether you want to or not, most of the time. And so by age 18, we're more than ready to leave the foster care system, but we're still too young to understand what the foster care system provided for us. We want so much to finally be in control of our own lives that we refuse to see what the foster care system can do for us even after 18. I mean, how ready would you really think that we are to live on our own after life in foster care? I mean, imagine your own child about to turn 18 and about to leave home for the very first time. But instead of throwing them a graduation party and helping them move into a dorm, you put everything that they own into a bag, you give them a check like Kevin said, and you wish them luck. And oh yeah, you can't come back. Don't come back and ask us for money, assistance, or even advice. Where do you think your kids would be after 6 months or a year? Leaving foster care can be like that. Many young people leaving foster care at 18 leave without a permanent home. And they've been moved so much that most of them leave without getting their high school diploma, and they have little or no job experience. Most of them leave without a single trusted adult in their lives, no one that they can call to for assistance, no one that they can call to for advice, no one to help them navigate the needed social services that these youth can have. Just real quick, one of the things is that these youth can go to school for free. They can earn their doctorate degree, and it's paid for by the state. But these youth, they don't understand that. I was one of the first to join Thru Project. Honestly, I joined because I was promised a free bus pass and help in finding a job. But I didn't expect much. You learn not to expect much in foster care. But Thru Project actually did what they said they was gonna do. I was matched with Steve. Steve was someone that I could look up to. Mr. Steve owned his own business, and he promised to pass my resume out to others as long as I worked on it with him. Steve wouldn't do the work for me, unfortunately. But he was willing to help guide me while I did it. And most importantly, he held me accountable. Jimmy, why aren't you done with this yet? Always pushing, always helping, but always there. You see, Steve, he didn't care that I'd made mistakes in my life. Steve didn't label me as a foster kid. Instead, Steve told me that he was proud of me, that he was proud of all of my accomplishments, despite my difficult past. No one in his position had ever said that to me. And so I started to see the world, and I started to see myself the way that Mr. Steve saw it. I'm now 29. I'm currently working at a great organization in my chosen field. I'm an accountant, and I have my own apartment, and I have my dream vehicle, a truck. I speak for the Thru Project whenever I can to the other youth, because I want them to know that there are people out there who are willing to help you live the life that you want to live. Thru Project will help find those people for you. From the deepest of my heart, we really would like to thank y'all for supporting our organization. As Kevin said, this is something that is so dear to our heart because we've actually been through it. And so we literally know how these youth can feel mentally, emotionally, and we know that it can be tough. But we also know that there has always been someone there that has had our back, someone there that has pushed us to be better and that has told us that we could. And so that's why I believe so much in this organization, because I can see through myself how much it has changed me. And so again, I'd like to thank y'all for your support. Thank you.